Disclaimer: this content is only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. The breeze carried the smell of salt water and sunscreen as she stepped off the plane, sunglasses low on her nose, smile painted carefully across her lips. Her hand clutched a shopping bag full of souvenirs, keychains, a shell bracelet, a bottle of sand and glass, but not the one thing that mattered. Not the man who gave her the ring. They had left for Mexico 2 weeks ago, all sunshine and champagne, the perfect couple. Friends called them goals. He had proposed on a cliff overlooking the sea, the ring slipping onto her finger with the promise of forever. But now she was back alone. No fiancé. No calls. No explanation. Just the smile she wore for strangers and the weight in her eyes for those who looked too long. People noticed. Her best friend, Layla, asked, "Where's Caleb?" The answer was always the same: he stayed behind. But what did that even mean? The town started whispering. First, it was concern. Then curiosity. And soon, suspicion. What happened to Caleb? Why didn't he return with her? If everything was fine, why wasn't he calling, texting, posting like he used to? At night, she stared at her phone like it owed her answers. Sometimes, she'd scroll through old pictures laughing by the beach, that clumsy dance in the street, after too many mojitos, the kiss just after he said, "Marry me." And now? Nothing. Silence. She kept the ring in a drawer. Not on her finger. Not in a box. Just hidden, like the truth. A neighbor swears they saw her crying in her car for 20 minutes straight, then walking into the house like nothing happened. Another one says they saw her burn a small photo in the backyard. Nobody can prove anything. But everyone has theories. Is she heartbroken or hiding something? The story unfolds in layers. Friends who thought they knew her start to question if they ever really did. His family calls, desperate for answers. Her Instagram still shows smiles and sunny captions. But when you look closer, her eyes are always somewhere else. Haunted. There's a moment where she walks into a boutique downtown, picks up a blue sweater, then drops it like it burned her hand. A woman nearby asks if she's okay. She just nods and says softly, "He used to wear something just like that." Then she's gone, leaving behind the smell of coconut perfume and an eerie silence. Did something go wrong on that trip? Or did something happen after they returned? Something nobody expected? She came back with souvenirs, but not the man who gave her the ring. Now everyone's asking, where's Caleb? Why isn't she telling the whole story? And most of all, what really happened in Mexico? Let's dive into part 1 of this mysterious, romantic, and emotionally twisted story. But before we do, what do you think? Is she hiding heartbreak or hiding the truth? Was it love gone wrong or something darker? Drop your guesses in the comments below. Should she tell the truth, or is she right to stay silent? Vote in the poll. Is she innocent, or is there more to her than meets the eye? This is a story where luxury meets loneliness, where love meets loss, and where every smile might be a mask. So hit that like button if you're ready to go deeper. Subscribe if you want to follow this journey to the very end. Because trust me, this is just the beginning. She told people it was just a vacation. A getaway. A chance to reconnect. No one questioned it at first. Mexico sounded like paradise, sun-drenched beaches, margaritas by the ocean, couples dancing under fairy lights. It was supposed to be their escape from work stress and wedding planning chaos. Caleb had been pulling away lately, distracted. She thought maybe a trip would help. He agreed too quickly. Now, looking back, that should have been the first sign. They landed in Tulum. The resort was breathtaking: open balconies, blue-tiled infinity pools, the scent of hibiscus flowers in the air. She took photos of everything. He barely looked at his phone. He was quieter than usual, but still sweet. He kissed her forehead while she ordered cocktails. He held her hand as they watched fire dancers spin sparks into the sky. And on their third night, he got down on one knee in the sand. Her yes came with tears and laughter. Other guests clapped. A waiter brought champagne. The ring sparkled like a promise. But something felt too perfect. A few days later, the mood shifted. Caleb became distant, irritated by little things, quiet during dinner. On the last night, they argued nothing explosive, just that tired kind of bickering couples do when they're carrying unspoken things. She asked, "Is there something you're not telling me?" He said, "Let's not ruin the last night." And that was it. The next morning, she was alone at breakfast. No note, no call. The concierge said Caleb checked out hours before. Vanished. Just gone. She waited. Called his phone. No answer. She went to the local police. They told her maybe he changed his mind. Maybe he needed space. One officer said gently, sometimes men run before weddings. But she knew him. Or at least, she thought she did. She stayed an extra 3 days, looking for him. Called hospitals. Asked strangers. Even hired a local private guide to retrace their steps. Nothing. No leads. No sightings. His passport was scanned at the airport the same day she left, yet somehow he didn't board their flight. Back in the US, his phone remained silent. His apartment was locked. His car parked undisturbed. His mom said he texted her once, short and vague, taking some time. "Tell everyone I'm fine." But she didn't believe it. Not when he left without a trace. Not when the Caleb she knew was someone who always said goodbye. Now she's home, but everything feels off. She walks into her apartment, and it feels bigger, colder. Friends ask her to talk. She says she's tired. She tries to sleep, but keeps waking up from dreams where he's standing at the shore, calling her name, but every time she runs to him, the waves pull her back. Layla, her best friend, came over last night with wine and questions. "Do you think he's ghosting you?" she asked. "Or did something happen?" She didn't answer. Instead, she handed Layla a bag of souvenirs she had brought back. Layla smiled at the trinkets until she pulled out a small, broken watch, Caleb's. The one he never took off. The glass cracked, the band torn. "How did you get this?" Layla whispered. She shrugged. "Found it in the sand near the rocks the morning he disappeared." That was the first time Layla looked truly afraid. Now she doesn't go out much. But people are watching. The neighbors. Caleb's family. Even a reporter showed up once, asking for an interview. She shut the door in his face. Still, she keeps the souvenirs in plain sight on a shelf. A reminder, maybe? Or a warning. Something happened. And she's the only one who knows how much. But is she telling the truth? Or keeping the kind of secret that costs more than love? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think happened to Caleb? Did he run, or did something darker take place? Have you ever known someone who vanished without a goodbye? Would you stay quiet if you knew something, but couldn't prove it? Vote in the poll and let's see what the majority thinks. Stay tuned for part 3. Things are about to get deeper. The days blurred into each other after that. She moved through them like a ghost, doing just enough to seem okay. Work emails, laundry, replying to texts with dry emojis. But her mind was somewhere else, stuck between the waves and that last morning in Mexico. She started replaying things in her head. Little moments. Things Caleb said. The way he looked over his shoulder when they walked back from dinner. The man who sat too close to them at the beach bar. The phone call Caleb took in the hallway when he thought she was asleep. One night, unable to sleep, she opened his laptop. She still had the password. There wasn't much there, he always kept things clean. But one email stood out. Unread. Marked with a star. The subject line said, "We're not done." No name. No details. Just the words and a timestamp from 3 days before they left for Mexico. She felt her heart in her throat. She clicked it. The email had been deleted. Just that one chilling subject left in his trash folder. No sender. She didn't tell anyone about it. Not yet. That same week, she got a message from an unknown number. "You left too soon." That's it. Nothing more. No name. No response when she replied. She blocked it. But it stayed with her, the way certain songs do long after they've ended. She decided to visit Caleb's apartment. Just once. To feel closer. Maybe even to find something that made sense. She still had a key. His place was exactly how he left it, clean, quiet, like he might walk through the door with takeout at any moment. His favorite hoodie hung on the back of a chair. A wine bottle on the counter, unopened. A framed photo of the two of them on the windowsill. Then she noticed something odd. A drawer in his desk, left just slightly open. Inside was a receipt from a jewelry store, dated a week before their trip. But the ring had already been bought months ago. This was something else. She went to the store. Asked casually if they remembered Caleb. The woman behind the counter nodded slowly. "Yeah, I remember him. He came in asking about resetting a stone. He said it was a family piece. Asked if we could make it disappear from the original design." When she asked what the stone looked like, the woman replied, "Big, rare, blue." She didn't have a blue stone. Her ring had a diamond. Plain. Classic. Now she couldn't stop wondering, was there another ring? Was there someone else? Meanwhile, Layla was digging too. She never fully believed Caleb just left. She started messaging Caleb's old college friends. One of them mentioned something strange. A girl named Marin. Someone Caleb dated briefly before her. Beautiful. Mysterious. Vanished after they broke up. No one had heard from her since. It was too much to ignore. 2 people. One vanished. One returned alone. Now the story started to shift. Was this just about heartbreak or something more twisted? Could Caleb have been caught up in something deeper than anyone realized? Or was she not as innocent as she looked? Everything felt like a puzzle where some pieces were missing or stolen. Each time she got closer to an answer, another question took its place. And the whole time, she could feel someone watching. Her phone battery would drain faster than usual. Her bedroom light flickered at odd hours. One night, she found sand in her entryway, even though she hadn't been near a beach since the trip. Now the question wasn't just what happened, but who else knows? Drop your theories in the comments. Was Caleb hiding another relationship or another life? Should she come forward with what she knows or keep digging in secret? And what would you do if someone you loved disappeared, but left behind signs that maybe you never really knew them at all? Don't miss what happens next. The twist is coming. She hadn't planned to return to Mexico, but something kept pulling her back. The unanswered questions. The gut feeling that she'd missed something the first time. Or maybe it was guilt, she wasn't sure anymore. She told her friends it was for closure. Layla didn't believe her but didn't argue. Just hugged her tight and said, "Be careful. And trust your instincts." The flight back felt different. Colder. The air heavier. Every little sound. Doors closing. Voices whispering seemed louder than it should have been. When she landed in Tulum again, nothing had changed, but everything felt different. The palm trees still swayed gently. Tourists laughed as they rolled their suitcases down sun-drenched streets. But she moved like a shadow, blending in, staying low. She checked into a smaller hotel this time. No ocean views, no welcome drinks. Just a plain room with thin curtains and a bed that creaked. She didn't need comfort. She needed answers. She started retracing her steps from that week with Caleb. The restaurants, the beach, the spot where he had proposed. People remembered her. Some gave polite smiles. Others glanced away too fast. At the beach bar, the bartender froze when she asked about that last night. "You were the couple with the ring," he said slowly. He was nervous. Kept looking over his shoulder. "I thought maybe he owed someone money." She leaned in. "Did you see where he went?" The bartender paused. He left with a man. Not local. Tall, white, dressed sharp. They didn't look like friends. He looked around, lowered his voice. "We get all kinds of people down here. Not all of them are here for sunshine." Later that night, she found the rocky cliffside, again, the one they visited just before Caleb disappeared. She stood there for a long time, wind tugging at her hair, waves crashing below. That's where she saw it. Something wedged between the rocks. At first, it looked like trash. Then she saw the glint of metal. Her breath caught. It was the blue stone. The one the jeweler had described. Wrapped in a velvet pouch, wet and worn from the tide, but still intact. She held it in her palm, staring at it. Why was it hidden out here? Why not take it? Who left it behind? Suddenly, footsteps behind her. She spun around, heart pounding. A man stood a few feet away, hands up like he didn't want trouble. She didn't recognize him. But he seemed to know her. "You shouldn't have come back," he said quietly. Her voice shook. "Who are you?" The man didn't answer right away. He looked at the pouch in her hand, then back at her. He wasn't supposed to get involved. But he did, and now he's gone. Her knees went weak. Gone where? Silence. She gripped the pouch tighter. "Did you do something to him?" He looked tired. Sad, even. "We warned him. He didn't listen. And neither did you." Before she could ask another question, he walked away, slow, deliberate, and disappeared into the trees. She stood there shaking, clutching the stone like it could save her from drowning. It was real. All of it. The fear, the secrets, the feeling she was never supposed to find the truth. She returned to her hotel and locked the door behind her. That night, she dreamed of Caleb's voice calling her name, echoing through the waves. But when she turned, it wasn't him standing there. It was the man from the cliff. She woke up in a cold sweat. Now she knows something darker was always hidden beneath their perfect trip. Something he never told her. Something that got him taken. And now, maybe, they're coming for her too. But what do you think? Was Caleb part of something criminal, or was he just in the wrong place at the wrong time? Who does the blue stone really belong to? And if she goes deeper, can she ever come back? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you had the chance to uncover the truth, would you risk it all? Stay with me. The truth is almost here. She didn't sleep after that night. Every sound felt louder. Every knock on the door, every flicker of the hallway light outside her hotel room made her heart race. She was sure someone was watching, maybe even following. The blue stone stayed hidden in her purse, wrapped tight in its soaked velvet pouch, but she could feel the weight of it pressing on her, like it held a truth she wasn't ready for. The next morning, she checked out early, changed hotels, paid cash. No questions. No trail. But the feeling didn't leave. The silence felt heavier than words now. Caleb's voice haunted her like unfinished sentences. What was he mixed up in? And how had she not seen it? Later that day, she went back to the beach where they first met a local artist, Diego. He had sketched a quick portrait of them, freehand, while they laughed over street tacos. She remembered him because Caleb had tipped him generously and said, "Artists see what people miss." So she found Diego again. He was still there, still sketching couples and sunsets. When he saw her, his smile faded. "I thought you left," he said quietly. She nodded. "I did. I came back." Diego hesitated, then reached under his folding table. He pulled out a sketch pad and flipped through the pages. "I wasn't going to show you this unless you returned. But maybe now's the time." He held up a drawing not of her and Caleb, but of Caleb alone. He was sitting at the beach bar, his face drawn with tension, a man standing behind him, face partially turned. The same man she saw on the cliff. But there was something else. The man's hand was reaching for Caleb's pocket. She stared at the picture. "You saw this happen?" Diego nodded slowly. "He gave me the ring to sketch. Said it was his grandmother's. But later, he came back. Panicked. Told me to forget we met." Her stomach dropped. "Did you?" "No," Diego said. "Because that man? He's not from here. He's come before. With different names. Always following someone. It was too much." Her thoughts spun. Why was this man watching Caleb? And now her? What was in that blue stone that made it worth hiding? Or killing for? She left Diego with a promise she wasn't sure she could keep. If anything happens, tell someone, and took the drawing with her. That night, she called Layla. "I need you to do something for me," she said, her voice low. "Anything. Find out who owns Sapphire Coast Holdings. That's the name on the receipt from the jeweler. It wasn't just a store. It's a front. I think that's where Caleb was getting the stone recut." Layla paused on the line. "You think it's connected to whoever took him?" "I know it is." An hour later, Layla called back, voice shaky. "You're not gonna like this. The company's registered in Nevada. The address leads to a dead office building. But guess who the primary listed investor was?" She gripped her phone tighter. "Who?" "Caleb's ex Marin." Silence. "Marin died 3 years ago in a boating accident, right?" Layla continued. "But I found photos of her posted just 6 months ago, in Greece, with a man who looks a lot like the one from your drawing." The room spun around her. The pieces were falling into place, but the picture it formed didn't make sense. Had Caleb faked something? Was he helping Marin or running from her? Was the ring he gave her even real? Or was it a decoy? Now, it wasn't just about finding Caleb. It was about finding out who he really was before he vanished. And if he was still alive, why hasn't he come back? Viewers, what would you do if someone you loved had secrets buried this deep? Would you risk your own safety to get at the truth? Do you think Caleb was a victim or part of something darker? Comment your theories below. The twist you think is coming might not be the one you expect. She landed in Greece with nothing but a backpack, a burner phone, and the sketch folded tightly in her pocket. The photo Layla had found of Marin was taken near the port of Hydra, a quiet island where secrets could easily hide behind beauty. She didn't tell anyone she was going. Not even Layla this time. If she was going to find out the truth, she had to do it herself. By now, she had pieced together most of it. Caleb had been helping Marin, not running from her. That blue stone? It wasn't just a gem, it was stolen. From someone powerful. Someone dangerous. And that someone was chasing both of them. The fake name on the jewelry receipt. The man watching them in Mexico. Though we're not done email, all of it pointed to a deal gone wrong. A deal Caleb got pulled into. Maybe willingly, maybe not. She stayed on the island for 2 days, pretending to be a solo traveler, until she saw her Marin, alive, sitting at a marina cafe, laughing with a man in a suit. Not the man from the sketch this time. Someone older. American. She was calm, collected, like she hadn't faked her own death, like she hadn't ruined 2 lives. And then she saw him. Caleb. He was across the street, dressed in black, sunglasses on, leaning against a moped. Not hiding, not running, just waiting. She froze. Her body wanted to run to him, to scream, to cry. But something stopped her. His face was different. Not sad, not guilty. Cold. He looked right at her. No shock, no panic. Like he knew she'd come. She crossed the street slowly, heartbeat pounding in her ears. When she reached him, she could barely speak. "You're alive." He smiled, soft, distant. "I told you I'd keep you safe." "What does that mean?" she whispered. He looked past her toward Marin. "I made a deal. I walked away so you could go home and never get dragged into this. But you came back. You disappeared," she said, voice trembling. "You left me." "I didn't leave you," he said. "I left the life they were trying to pull me into. But I couldn't escape both." She stepped back, her voice rising. "You lied to me. The ring, the proposal, was any of it real?" He didn't answer right away. Then quietly, "The love was. The rest was survival." Before she could respond, a black car pulled up. The man Marin had been with signaled to Caleb. It was happening fast now. "You have to go," Caleb said urgently. "They can't know we spoke." She grabbed his hand. "Come with me. We can still fix this. We can leave." He shook his head. "There's no fixing this. But you can live. That's all I want." Then, suddenly, a shot rang out. Chaos. People screamed. The glass of the cafe shattered. Marin ducked. The man in the suit was hit, blood blooming through his shirt. Caleb turned toward the noise and froze. A figure stepped from behind a pillar. The man from the sketch. He wasn't dead. He wasn't gone. He was still hunting. Caleb moved fast, grabbed her, pulled her behind a parked bike. "You need to run." "No." She looked up at him, tears in her eyes. "Come with me." But this time, he didn't answer. He stood and faced the man, gun raised. And everything exploded into sound and blur. When she woke up later, the sirens were fading. Caleb was gone. No sign of Marin. No sign of the man. Just the velvet pouch in her pocket and a note stuffed inside. "I told you the ring wasn't the only thing they wanted. But you were the only thing I couldn't give them." See. Back home, months passed. No word. No updates. Just silence. But sometimes on quiet nights, her phone would buzz once. No message. No caller ID. Like someone was still watching. Or maybe protecting. Viewers, what do you think really happened that day in Hydra? Did Caleb survive? Was Marin a victim or the mastermind all along? And if you were given the chance to disappear with someone you loved, would you take it? Comment your theories. And remember, the story isn't always over just because it's quiet. 3 years passed. The velvet pouch sat untouched in her drawer, hidden behind old letters and postcards no one ever read. She'd stopped waiting for calls, stopped chasing shadows. Life had slowly stitched itself back together, one routine at a time. But some wounds, even when closed, still ached when the weather changed. She never told anyone the full story. Not Layla, not her therapist, not even herself some days. Because how do you explain falling in love with someone who disappeared into gunfire and secrets? Someone who handed you a dream, only to vanish with the truth? But the note Caleb left, it stayed with her. Folded and worn, like it had survived more storms than either of them. She read it sometimes when the nights got too quiet. It reminded her of what was real, even if it didn't last. One afternoon, while traveling for work, she found herself back in Greece. She hadn't planned it, but something inside her needed to see that marina one more time. The cafe was still there. The same blue chairs. The same narrow streets filled with locals and tourists sipping coffee without a care in the world. She sat at the edge of the dock, legs dangling, sun on her skin. And just as she was about to stand, a little girl ran past her, laughing, holding a balloon. Behind her, a man followed, tall, sunglasses, relaxed, his face half hidden by a cap. But when their eyes met, her breath caught. It was him. No words, just a pause, a knowing. He smiled not with his mouth, but with his eyes. Then he turned and walked on, disappearing into the crowd like the tide pulling back into sea. She didn't chase him. This time, she let him go. Because sometimes, love isn't about holding on. It's about knowing when to leave a piece of your heart in the hands of someone who once kept it safe. And now, viewers, we want to know, how did you feel about the ending? Would you have chased after him one last time? Or walked away the way she did? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you'd love a sequel, just say the word.